In this video, I will show you how to make a simple modular origami ball. It was one of the first models that I learned to create when I started working with modular origami. If you want to try modular origami, I highly recommend that you start with this model. What you will need are 30 square sheets of paper. If you don't have access to origami paper, I'll show you in a separate video how to make an origami square. So please use that video if you still want to try this model and don't have origami paper. Now, when you create this model, you need to be aware of what side of the paper you're using. When you're making this, whatever side is on the top will be on the inside, and whatever's on the back will be on the outside. So if you want your colors, if you have colored paper and you want the color to be shown, you would just have the color side down. And but on this video I have white on the outside, so I have my white side down. The first thing that you need to do is make a preliminary base. If you already know how to make one of those, you can just skip ahead a few seconds. If you don't, just take your square sheet of paper and you're going to make a fold along this diagonal, which means you're going to take this bottom right point and fold it up to the top left point of the paper. And you can also lift up the paper to check that it's all the way to the edge. Because even though it's simple, you still want all your pieces to be exact. Because with modular origami, if the pieces aren't the same size, it makes the model look strange and it won't fit sometimes. Now you open it up and you can turn it and do another fold along the diagonal, and you get something like this. Now you turn it over and you're just going to pop it up like that and fold it in half, then open it up and fold it in half again. So now you have something that's kind of like that. Now you flip it back over so that whatever side you want is on the outside, and you just pop it. You just put some pressure on the sides and it'll pop itself back up. Then you just grab the sides and you can push it down flat and you'll get a triangle, a type pyramid shape. You'll notice that there are two layers on each side, or you should say a top layer and a bottom layer. You're going to take one of the top layers, it doesn't matter which side you start on, and you just bring it up to that crease that's in the middle and fold it right up along that crease. So you have this shape, and you do the same thing again on the other layer. So now you have this angel type shape. Flip the paper over and do the exact same thing. And you'll see that if your paper is, if you folded it correctly, once you finish pressing down these layers, you'll see that your shape lines up nice and evenly. Okay, so now if you look at it, you have these little flaps. You have 4 of them. You have to take each one of those flaps, and you might need to hold it up to see what you're doing. You just bend it down until it's even. You'll see it'll be even with the inside of the paper. And you just fold all 4 of those down. So that's one side done. And you fold this side down. Which is 1. So that's 1. And then you fold the other side down. Okay. Now you can flip it up, and you just pull on the flaps just to kind of bring it back out. And there we have it. Now, in terms with modular origami, this would be called a unit. Modular origami is the folding of several units and connecting them to make another shape. So you actually need to make 30 of these. Now it's time for the assembly. Putting this model together is very simple if you follow this rule. When you look at one of the units, each side is going to have a pocket, which is this triangle piece on the end. It's called a pocket because you can bend it open and you can stick something in it. And there will always be a straight edge. And another important thing to look out for is the direction that the pocket folds. You want them to always fold in towards you when you're holding the model. So when you pick up another unit, you'll see that it also has the pocket and the straight edge, and the pocket flap folds upwards towards your body. So you're just going to take one of the points and stick it into the other pocket. It doesn't matter which way you go, but once again, I'm right-handed and I like to work going towards the right. And you've connected the 2 units, and you can see you can fling it around. It's solid. And once you get all the units together, you'll see that you'll have these little, you see the joints where they join. You can tape that down if you want, but I don't like to. I actually like seeing that when I'm working with origami, but some people like to tape theirs down just so it looks nice. Now you take another unit, and using the same rule, you look for the pocket and the straight edge, and that the flap is pointing towards you, and you just stick it right into the other pocket. It'll fold right in. Then you press them together. That's 3. You want to do 5 of these. So let's put the 4th on there. Turn it around so you get your pocket, your straight edge, and the flap. You just stick it right in there. Press it tight. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And so to do the 5th point, you just follow the same rule. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then you just connect the 5th and the 1st of the units together. Alright. And just fold into there. There we have it. After you get the fifth and the first unit together, it creates a 5-pointed star, and since this is the largest of the rings, I always call like the first one that you make the base, and you can flip it over and you see it'll stand up. And at that time, if you need to, just go back and make any corrections. Like I say, this one might be a little too far up, because the base is very important, because that's what the rest of your model is going to stand on. And I always make my base the largest ring size. There we go. So it's nice and pointy, and you see you can flip it over and it'll stand up. I usually just work with the model like this until I can at least get maybe another start working on the other 5-pointed star. But some people like to just flip it over and start working from there, but I don't like doing it that way. So you just pick up another unit, and if you look between these 2 points, there'll be 2 triangles that point the same direction, and you just want to take the unit in your hand and turn it so it matches the shape of that point. So this one has a line on the inside, pocket on the outside, so I'll just turn the unit till I find a line on the inside and a pocket on the outside. And now you stick this left pocket into this right pocket and bend. Do the same for this. You stick the left pocket into the right pocket you might have to work to get it in there and bend. And if your 5-star ring might come apart, but you can just slip it back together. It's no problem. Once you get more of these the 3 pointed the triangles around this ring, it'll be stable. And so now you just turn the model and you have 2 more points. So you just slap that in there, and then you just there we go. Okay, there we have it. Now you see, you'll see that once you get the rest of the points on and you flip it over, you'll see it starts to take the shape of a ball, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. And there's the inside. Now here is the last of the assembly rule. You'll have a 5-pointed star surrounded by triangles, or you see you'll have these 3 points. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So remember, it's 5 points surrounded by 3 points. So if you look at it this way, you'll have 1, 2, 3. But since there's already 3 points, you see there's starting to be 3 points around it, that must mean that this is a 5-pointed star. So you put 5 here. And another way, if you look closely at the joinings, you'll see for the for the stars, all the flaps will be pointing going clockwise. And if you look at the triangles, all of their flaps go counterclockwise. And that can help you just keep track of what you're supposed to be doing. 5 points, as in you're going to have that star shape surrounded by the triangles, the 3 points. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a 5-pointed star and 5 of the triangles surrounding it. So when you turn the model, if you look at it this way, you'll see that you have 1, 2, 3 points forming. But since there's already 3-pointed, the triangles around it, the 3-pointed triangles around it, this must make the shape a 5-pointed star. That if you're looking and follow my directions, all the flaps of the star will be heading in a clockwise direction, while all the flaps of the triangles will be going in a counterclockwise direction. So if you just follow the flaps also, then you wouldn't have to count. It'll make it a little easier for you. So you just take another one. I also like this model because it's kind of springy, but it's not as flexible as like a flex ball or a twisting tower, but it's kind of bouncy. Once you have that 5-pointed star done and you sit it back up, you'll see it's starting to take even more of a ball shape. So just go around and put on the rest of this layer's units. And make sure that you're on the right layer. Now when you look at it, see that once you're connecting this wing there, you're going to have a tip here and a tip from the second unit right there. You just connect those together. So just follow it as you go around the circle. Just keep track of the flaps and how many points you have already. And if it's 5, it goes right, goes into left. And if it's 3, it goes left, goes into right. Okay, I've assembled the first half of the modular origami ball, and you can see now it's a perfect hemisphere, and so you just have the last 15 units to connect. Okay, I've gone ahead and connected all of the units except for 4. That's because you want to pay you want to stop about around now and just look through to make sure all of your 5 pointed stars have joints that are going clockwise and all the triangles are going counterclockwise. It'll help you put on the last few and make it look nice and neat. If you haven't been doing that and you've just been throwing them on any kind of way, this last part is going to be pretty difficult. So let's go ahead and connect these last few units. And you can see now it's almost completed. I think I just have the last unit, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect this triangle. And it's hard to get your fingers in there, so your hand in there, so you just stick like maybe your middle or four fingers through and just try to poke together. Now if you've done this correctly, for your last unit you'll have just 1, 2, 3, 4 of the points sticking up, which will match this perfectly. And there we have it, a completed modular origami ball. One of the easiest to make, especially with the nice looking spikes on the outside. Some of the flatter ones were much easier, but I think the spiked balls look nice. And what I would recommend doing this with, just like I did now, just regular old printing paper, just to get the hang of it. And once you get it down, then I'd do it with some if I were you, I would use some colored paper just to make it look nicer. But it's still pretty impressive. You should be able to show off a bit to your friends, and they might think that you've done something really cool. But it's pretty simple. And if you like this video, please leave a comment at the bottom and rate it. I'll be adding more tutorials. I might do one more tomorrow, since it would be the day. It will be Christmas Eve tomorrow, actually. So I might do one tomorrow if I have time, and I'll do a Christmas one if I do have time. But please and enjoy your new modular origami ball.